control the game a little bit more, but we already do have some bans coming in.
Yep, we are into champion slate there. We can see Aatrox banned out, and that big grin that was on Alex's face was at the time that they banned Aatrox. So they obviously played that yesterday and were like, we're going to draw some bans with that now. Thank you very much. And that'll be one coming out. Udyr, of course, banned against Diamondprox. On the other side for Gambit, taking out Nunu and Thresh. And Thresh is a big one for NiP. Deficio, they've actually won every game that he's played with Thresh.
Yeah, I mean, he's always solid on Thresh. Most people who play him are always hitting the hooks, really making plays happen, and getting Deficio out of his comfort zone, because we have to say, looking at the tests in Deficio versus Freeze and Deficio, which is actually being called Defrizio now by their own team a little bit, they've actually been doing really well. They're playing really aggressive, and if you kind of maybe get Deficio out of that comfort zone, maybe it'll shut the lane down a little bit. But the Aatrox ban, I still find that a little funny, just because I'm thinking back to Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, when Mitri Bakers were playing against CJ Antis and Insect ran Zed previously against Evil Geniuses. They banned him, and we asked him why, and they're like, yeah, we don't know what he does. We just took away, and I think NiP might have the same deal with that one.
Well, that's the thing. He's obviously the newest champion. This is the first week that he's been available since his release. So it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that a lot of these teams, number one, aren't bringing him into their comps right now because they've just not had the time to play him. And number two, they don't really know what he does and how to counter him and stuff like that. So that's something that we're going to be seeing probably against Gambit here for maybe the next week to come as well. We'll have to see about that. Elise and Twisted Fate were banned out. That, of course, left Shen open. Extinkt going to lock that one straight in.
Oh, and Diamond, I mean, this Evelyn has been banned against him so many times, so he's going to be able to use it this time. I think he was the first person in European LCS back in the spring split in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, to really use that Evelyn, and it really worked out extremely well from, I believe, Svenskeren followed suit with that, a lot of teams on top of that. But the Shen, Solxik use it, he didn't die once. He was 1-0-9, I believe, at the end of their game, and he plays pretty strong Shen, though he missed a couple of taunts, but, you know, just a couple. And they still won. So that's all that matters.
Missed a couple of taunts. He's got a 100% win record with it though, after that one game, so that's a good stat for them. Sona, of course, locked in here as well for Gambit as well, a champion which they absolutely love to have, if at all possible. Obviously, that goes back to the days when Edward was there. They loved to almost make him play Sona, even though he, I think, hated playing Sona most of the time in there as well. And right now, Darker as well himself has played 8 games already. This will be his 9th game on Sona so far in the summer split.
Wow. So, I mean, either he really loves Sona or just a really big team player, which I think, honestly, it's a little bit of both. And if you look at how the lineup's already built up, you have that Evelyn ultimate to engage, you have the Sona Crescendo to follow up, or obviously vice versa. So it's a lot of control, it's a lot of damage, and NiP, they kind of need some sort of answer to this. And having an Evelyn in the jungle, her power is strictly in that mid game, just because you can't really afford that Oracle to put wards down, or to get the vision. You can't afford so many pink wards, so that's where Gambit's really going to be fighting here. And then we see right now Xin and Draven locked in. So this is before the 3.9 Draven. This is before the changes to his passive. So he hurts like a lot of things that hurt.
He hurts a lot, is what Jason was trying to say there. But yeah, that's going to obviously be in the hands of Freeze this time, a player who we've seen what happens when he's aggressive, and then getting someone like Draven just amplifies the aggression of an AD carry tenfold, I think. Tinchao coming in here as well for Malunoo in that jungle. So they've got those, you know, the top, the AD carry and the jungler locked in here. They're going to be saving that that support choice, actually, and the AP mid for, I say AP mid, their mid player for later on. We'll see what Gambit go in for next, though.
I was just thinking back to the NALCS this last week, where TSM ran, I believe it was Annie Xin Zhao bot lane, which is like the weirdest thing ever to see, but we'll see. That's probably going to be in the jungle anyways. And I think NiP, with the lineup they have right now, Anami's going to be picked up by Deficio since he plays her so many times.
There is Jace. That one snuck through the bans. We've been seeing, obviously, a lot of Jace being targeted for bans and for picks in the past. Today, it's going to get on towards the Gambit side. So, you know, that could, in the end, be in that mid lane for Alex. It could end up going in the top lane with Darien as well. Right now, they are hovering over Nami, as we thought possible here before as well.
Yeah, so I mean, Nami and Draven synergize really well. You can speed Draven up when he can already do that himself. You give him a slow so he can catch someone even easier, and then just the pure damage he does with your E on top of the off of Nami, it gives him a little bit of extra damage. It's really hard to deal with that lane, and
not to mention when they're bubbled up. That's an easy target for that Graves for that Draven to be having a go. Graves has appeared as well, apparently. So let's see what their final pick is, and what Bjergsen is going to be running is basically the question that we're going to find out here in these final 10 seconds of NiP's picks. And it looks like he's going to go for Ahri.
Okay, so I can understand that one. I mean, you need to be very mobile against this team. You don't want to get caught by Gambit, and Ari gives you the ability to do that. Gives you the ability to, you know, run around, dodge anything you possibly can, and even farm up a little bit easier against Jace. You can escape them a lot easier, but right now, Gambit, their lineup is just so deadly. They have so much damage, and I wonder what they're going to round this up with. Maybe, like I said before, maybe Jace is going to be on Darien in the top lane, maybe Alex is going to play something else, but NiP, like, they honestly have their work cut out for them with just the entire lineup that Gambit was getting. I mean, they got 2 comfort OP champions right now.
Well, and NiP have got one of those teams as well where they have to go in. You know, Shen, Xin, Ari going to be, you know, a little bit more on the fringes, if you like. But the fact is, if they start to fall behind with a lineup like that, they're going to find it very, very difficult to do anything in this game. But that's all to come. You know, we're going to find out what Gambit are going to go for as their final pick. And there is Rise, a champion that Alex Ich has already shown us many, many times in the past, but here in the summer split as well, obviously the big one that comes to mind is the game against Alternate, where he absolutely destroyed them.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get like 1 or 2 early kills on him. He had his Rod of Ages, I believe, like 11 or 13 minutes in, which you can never let Rise do because that means he can 1v1 anyone, and in the end, 1v2, which he was able to do. But I like the pickup, and we actually, with where it's currently sitting, it might be on Darien, but I mean, like, as you said before, we're used to it being on Alex, where he runs kind of teleport with it too, but it's actually a really smart pickup because they don't have anyone necessarily 100% tanky, and that Rise is really going to facilitate that a little bit, going to give you the ability to lock someone down, get some CC in there, and then obviously Jace can speed you up so you can make that initiate happen a little bit easier.
Let's see if they may go for a last-second switch on this one, so we'll keep you informed of that one. In fact, they do decide to have a last-second switch, so it will be Alex Ich playing that Rise in the mid lane. As you saw, that was White Knight's first encounter in the European LCS. Obviously, he came in as a sub for Ellenlord, and well, it was just a horrible game overall if you're an Alternate fan to watch, I think, because Gambit really did walk over them in that one. This, of course, is a different kettle of fish altogether. Ninjas in Pyjamas looking very good with this new lineup that they've got going. As Diamond's new haircut is looking a lot smarter.
Yeah, I like it actually, and also Darien as well. But you know, thinking back to the comp just a little bit, because we have a Jace versus Shen lane, and I remember back at Gamescom last year, we had Soaz playing Jace. Like, he brought it out in the top lane out of nowhere. No one really expected it, and just completely destroyed everyone he went up against. And that means it's gonna be hard for Extinkt to deal with. So maybe NiP would go for a 2v1 lane, send, you know, maybe Draven, Nami top lane against Jace to kind of shut him down a little bit. Obviously, he can farm from range, but if you ever get one bubble onto him, he's going to get chunked down. It's
funny you mentioned that as well, because that game where he brought Jace out was against Curse EU, of course, the former team of Extinkt and Malunoo. So we are going to be getting into game then. Of course, it is Ninjas in Pyjamas versus Gambit. And first of 4 games here today, and hoping for an action-packed one. I think we are going to get a game like that. This Evelyn from the jungle is going to be a constant threat coming out all over the place. And if we look down some of the starting items here, actually Darien going pretty deep in the utility side of things and starting with a Doran's Blade.
Okay, so he wants to go for a lot of dominance in his lane. So now if he does get 1v2'd, he's going to have even a harder time just sustaining away. But yeah, it's really interesting to see. I mean, it's kind of like that's becoming more common just with the Doran's Blade, but down the utility tree pretty far. He didn't really grab the Ghost Wards. He doesn't have the extra vision. He doesn't have any vision at all. So maybe he's really expecting Diamond to kind of camp him a little bit, give him a little bit of early game dominance.
I just saw Darker actually coming out of their jungle there, putting a ward down, which was actually spotted by Ninjas in Pyjamas. They were just all stood there waiting on that corner brush area, so they were just seeing if they could get an opportunity maybe for a sneaky little bit of first blood action. That didn't work out for them though, and now NiP are actually headed up towards the Tribush.
Oh, he's gonna go for the bubble over the wall. They don't have a ward on it, and Gambit aren't sitting there, but luckily for them they weren't, because that would have been so dangerous. That would have most likely been a first blood, but right now NiP, they don't know they're setting up on a ward up there, and Gambit not gonna react, not gonna really go for anything off of it.
Yeah, and NiP themselves actually starting to back away somewhat from that area. We did see them just put a pink ward down, so they know that there is now Gambit vision around that one, and they'll now realize why no one came anywhere near that one. But with that pink ward in the top, we'll see where they actually split off here. Because it looks like we could be seeing the lane switch happening, but for both sides.
Yeah, so I mean, NiP, like, just because they put the pink ward down, they knew what was up there, and they're going for a 2v2 here. So we're going to see how well it's going to work out. Obviously, both teams are going to have a lot of poke from their supports and a lot of damage, and both supports are actually running Ignite, so they're looking for some kills.
Yeah, looking to secure the kills as was always. Deficio losing out on a bit of gold there for that one. Just literally a split second too late coming in to finish off that ward. Let's have a look. Extinkt already taking some good damage. Darien actually using his Ignite very early up in this one, and that's just because he wants to force Extinkt to back away as early as he can, right? Yeah,
he wants that early level too, because that gives him so much more damage. Obviously, Jace, you don't have that ultimate to level up anymore, so you have 6 abilities right off the bat, and he's really going to be able to punish Extinkt quite well.
Well, there's an interesting stat for you. Of course, Genja playing Varus this game and has played him 7 times with a 71% win ratio, but right now he's under all kinds of pressure. Freeze going right in there, and there you see the danger completely of that level 2 Draven pressure coming in from Freeze.
And not to mention the combo of Nami and Draven, because the bubble landed and they just completely collapsed it. But right now, Darien's in trouble here bottom.
Yeah, Darien now going to have to try and get away from this one. The taunt going to land. Malunoo's in there. Flash away from Darien, but Malunoo flashes in. Knockup comes down, and Malunoo secures first blood for NiP. Looked like they could have got it in that top lane earlier, but now they have got it in the bottom.
What a fantastic flash taunt out of Extinkt as well, just to catch him there, get the red buff slow on him, get the knockup, and just lock him down. And we talked about he doesn't have any wards bottom. He still doesn't at the moment as he's heading back down there, and that's really dangerous. That means he could be ganked over and over again.
Very, very strong start here. Look at the early CS between the AD carries. 21-5 right now for Freeze over Genja after forcing him back, almost killing him for a first blood. As Bjergsen here going to take some pressure from Alex Ich, but we see now that Varus is coming down to this bottom lane, and they said, we don't want to play 2v2 against this Draven, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him. He almost died at level 1 or 2 towards the top side, but wow, so it looks like Extinkt is back in here, and they're actually going to keep this AD carry support lane against each other. They don't want to give Genja a free lane to farm it after pretty much shutting him down right off the bat, and this is going so well for NiP. I mean, having Malunoo get the first kill, obviously not exactly who you want to give it to, but it makes it so he can roam around the jungle a lot quicker and really provide a lot more ganks.
Extinkt will finally be recalling. I thought it was just going to hang around there and see if they could catch anyone with another taunt, because that's a guaranteed bubble if you do land that taunt. Mid lane, though, Diamond is just hanging around. That's the beauty of the Evelynn, you know, the stealth mechanic of it. You can literally just stand there in lane to come through it for the gank.
Yeah, and the thing is, it forces the other team to buy a lot of pink wards. Obviously, green wards aren't going to help out too much, as we do have a pink ward down bottom here, but it's not going to spot the ward that's in the bush for Gambit. So Diamond hasn't really been too successful. He hasn't really been able to make anything happen just yet, which is a little unlike him. Usually he is that person getting in there making the plays.
Well, we're just 5 minutes in. Plenty of time for Diamond to be making his mark on this map. And look at that, how quickly that lane has been pushed up there. Back on towards Genja's turret. Darien right now could be in trouble again at this top lane. Where's the pressure coming in? They'll actually hammer him back there. Taunt is going to land. Have they got the damage to finish off? There was the knockup, and Malunoo will make it 2 kills from 2 visits, and it's Darien that falls both times.
It seems like the story happens all too much for Gambit, with Darien just getting camped, getting killed consistently, and right now with those 2 kills, NiP has to make something happen off of it. I mean, obviously they can go for an early dragon if they want, since Malunoo has 1,400 gold to spend. But if you don't punish Alex, if you don't punish Genja, if you don't punish Diamond, then obviously you're not going to win the game too easily. But still, Freeze is punishing Genja quite well. He does have obviously a 10 CS advantage, which has actually Genja he's been doing a good job of catching back up, considering it was like 21-7 off the bat.
Freeze and Deficio thinking they're being sneaky here, but that's obviously not the case. They're stood right on top of a Gambit ward right now. A lot of pings coming down. They're waiting for Malunoo to actually get involved on the action here. Lots of pings coming down as Freeze decides, you know what? I want that CS. I've already started to get a lead as they are going to lock Darker up there in the bubble. And look at that, half of his health gone. I mean, we're talking about a Sona here that's very, very squishy at these, or just in general anyway, but certainly at these early levels where, you know, Draven is pretty much the champion to beat her when it comes to that kind of thing.
And considering that was 2 hits, it took her down to half health. Like, that is ridiculous. You see what Freeze picked up, double Doran's Blade, because he wants to hold his early game dominance. As you can see with the damage he did in that little bit of a trade, it's working out quite well for them. But we do have a gang potentially coming down middle.
Oh, top lane, though, we are going to see Darien here going down to Extinkt. And, well, the minions actually finishing off Darien there. As we are going to see now Genja in trouble in the bottom lane. Can he escape this one? No, he can't. Deficio actually picks up the kill as they're going on to Alex as well. This is chaos for Ninjas in Pyjamas. And they get 3 kills in about just as many seconds. Crazy.
I'm pretty speechless after that. That was just a great engage from everyone. I mean, let's look back at what happened first. Extinkt 1v1 Darien. So obviously, yeah, he's ahead, but he doesn't have very many items. He's not really 100% stronger than him just yet. Then we see Bjergsen and Malunoo come in middle to pick up the kill on Alex, and then Freeze and Deficio you see the bubble land, you see them pick up a kill, and that's going to be continuing to happen them over and over. And you still see Genja right now. He's coming back bottom, so he wants to stay in this lane. And this means that Diamond, when he hits level 6, I would really expect him to come around to make a gank happen.
And this is a game that's going very badly, very quickly from Gambit. And let's not forget, we almost counted out that Lemondogs game. Not really, I don't want to call it a fluke, because Lemondogs did play incredibly well. But we saw what happened in that game to Gambit. Once they started to fall behind, it looked almost as if Darien had lost interest in the game completely. You know, he was off doing his own thing pretty much, while inhibitors and turrets were being taken down on the other side of the map. That's not quite at this stage, but it might come to it. Malunoo's going to visit his top lane again. The taunt is going to land onto him. Knockup is not quite going to get in there, but Malunoo will actually hit him with the blow that knocks him up in the air, gets the kill. 6-0, 3 kills for Xin Zhao in the jungle. Massacre right now after only 8 minutes. I'm
surprised Darien hasn't flipped his table in anger, because that's like the 3rd gank on him in a row. He's just being slaughtered left and right, and someone has to do something for him here. And you know, you mentioned Lemondogs, how they completely destroyed Gambit in their game last week, but right now Gambit kind of picked the same kind of lineup in terms of Jace. You want him in that late game, you want that tier stacked up with the Mirror Mana. Ryze, you obviously want his mana stacked up with the tier, the Catalyst, or the Rod of Ages. And then you have Evelyn, who is really strong mid game, but the rest of the team isn't that strong middle, so it's kind of a little bit weird. But if anyone can pull back from a deficit like this early in the game, Gambit's definitely the team to do it.
Indeed. Now we see Evelyn, the statistic, banned 13 times against Gambit so far here in the summer split. And, well, we're not seeing too much of a reason. Why is the charm going to land here on towards Alex H? Ultimate use from Bjergsen. He gets locked up, but that won't make a difference. Bjergsen, 1v1 kill onto Alex. He goes 2 for 0. Genja actually going to come around the side. Does manage to land the piercing arrow here. Bjergsen, though, has got a flash, as does Genja. And he'll just walk away from that one safe and with a blue buff.
And Genja's only level 5. So, I mean, like, I think Bjergsen was potentially going to flash that, assuming that he had his ultimate available, but obviously he didn't. And just like you mentioned, Bjergsen, he came home with a blue buff from that. And Darien, he's level 6 to level 8 of Extinkt. I don't even think Jace can come back from this in terms of a 1v1. So, Diamond, who, you know, we've always pegged as being very strong, very aggressive early on. He hasn't been involved in a gank yet. Like, he sat middle for a little bit when he's around level 4, but he never made a gank happen.
It's funny you should say that. We've just seen Diamond coming over the top of ward there as Extinkt putting some more damage down on towards Darien in this top lane. He's trying to bait him out there, but they've already pinged that location because they saw him going over the pink ward by the middle. They expected him to come up to this top lane. They'd already pinged that one out, and they know that he's there.
And Malunoo, he's waiting on the sidelines. He wants to turn this gank around, maybe pick up a double kill. And in the meantime, bottom, you actually see Freeze and Deficio keeping Darker completely zoned from his turret here, letting the minions do all the damage tonight. A lot of fun, but Alex is coming in from behind him.
Oh, Freeze is actually going to be pushing in aggressive on this one. Throws out the ultimate. That's a dead Darker. As Alex comes in, he realizes, you know what, I can't even fight this. There's nothing I can do against Freeze and Deficio. And now Bjergsen is coming in here as well. They may collapse as a 3-man on towards Alex Hitch. He's going to have to pick his targets very closely here. Once they actually come under this turret and pick up that aggro, we see Genja coming down from the bottom side, but we are going to see ninjas in pajamas. They're going to go in for this one. They do lock him up with a charm. The target from Alex is going to be Bjergsen, as Freeze does get himself locked up under the tower. He flashes. He is safe. He's going to walk away from that one. And NiP, not only getting kills, are going to have the tower as well.
And remember, 74% of the people voted that Gambit would win this game, but being down 9-0 is just ridiculously good for NiP. We look at the kill spread we currently have, because, you know, Joe, you and I always mention this quite a bit of where the kills necessarily are, but we see 1 kill on Extinkt, we see 3 kills on Malunoo, the jungler, we see 2 kills already on Bjergsen, 2 kills on Freeze, even 1 on Deficio, and I mean, the spread really couldn't get better than that, as they're all picking up some major items really soon.
One good thing here for Gambit is that Darien is actually ahead in the CS right now, 76 to 63. That's pretty much what's keeping him in this game right now. He's not really worth much gold to be taken down either for Extinkt, so he's just going to have to play his farm game. He's obviously at 1-0-3 right now. You can see that it's only about a 500 gold difference overall, though.
And when Extinkt goes home and picks up that Sunfire cape, I'm not sure if Darien can even 1v1 him, even though he, you know, yeah, he's ahead in CS, he's catching up on levels, but Shen with the Sunfire does a lot of damage, not to mention, look at Extinkt's health bar compared to Darien's. So Malunoo heading up top again. We do have the Flash Taunt available and Ignite for Extinkt, and he might be able to go in here.
Well, let's see, he's hanging back. Malunoo is actually recalling currently as we see Diamond start to wander up to this top side of the map. He's just going for his golems, though, not actually getting too involved on this top lane just yet. And that's been the real problem here. He's not been able to get in anywhere around the map.
And the thing is, you should thrive from the early game, just having the stealth. But the problem is, the only lane he really has to gank with CC is middle. And Alex has already been shut down by Bjergsen quite well, so he's really having a tough time. And if he has any hopes to be impactful as the game goes on, he has to make a play happen soon.
Very true. I mean, how are you going to lock down a Shen with just that Jace in there? You've got to hope that the acceleration gate's going to be enough to actually keep you up with him. Obviously running flash as well. That's a lot of ground that Extinkt can cover here before anything bad can really happen to him. Diamond has decided to recall now from that top side as well, so we're not going to see anything in that top lane.
And Joe, let's take a look at CS real quick, because as you can see, it's very one-sided for NiP, as you would expect. You know, Bjergsen, he has a 30 CS lead middle. You see bottom lane, a 40 CS lead for Freeze. And Genja, I mean, typically, he is the kind of 80 carry player that would never really fall behind in farm on you, as we do have NiP going for Dragon here, and he might actually continue to do his normal style of he'll split push a lane while the rest of the game groups up and tries to fight.
Well, NiP are going to be taking first Dragon. There's no doubt about this one. That will extend their gold lead to over 5,000. We're only 13.5 minutes into the game, and they've got a 5 grand gold lead at this point. They are looking very, very good from that. You can see Extinkt didn't actually get to recall from that top lane. As a flash coming in from Bjergsen there. He wasn't a flash, who flashed away. Doesn't matter, because Darien's burning at the top lane. He's got, again, taunted under there. It was Alex that actually flashed away from Bjergsen in that middle lane as we just flashed over to him. And right now, NiP going to have a blue buff for Bjergsen as well. Everything is going to plan here, up in double figures on kills, and not one of them have died yet.
But Joe, there's one thing I'm looking at right now for NiP, since they're obviously 3 weeks into their new lineup changes, as we do have Deficio and Freeze waiting for Genja to push up. It might actually work out for them, because they have a pink ward in that bush. So they decide to go in for the tidal wave.
Yeah, it's a tidal wave. We do see Chain of Corruption coming down. That's going to split to Deficio. Genja actually waited then until Deficio threw out the bubble before he used that flash to get away. He knew it was going to spread to Deficio afterwards, and a lot used there, to be honest, by NiP to try and lock up that kill. And Genja's even sneakily farming their last couple of minions away of that wave with his piercing arrows. Malunoo now is headed to the top, and look at this. He's circumnavigated that ward in the top lane. He's not going to be spotted here by Alex.
And can he get the kill onto him? Alex is relatively taken. He knocks him away with his ultimate.
Yeah, flashes in for that one. Another taunt going to land from Extinkt, and this is going to be a dead Alex H. Malunoo picks up another one. He is now 4-0-1 with his Xin Chao.
You know, we have to talk about Malunoo a little bit, just in terms of his history in the LCS. He started off with Dragonborns. Obviously, he wasn't in the team initially, since it was Broken Shard who ended up stepping down and became the manager, but you know, we were a little bit skeptical of Malunoo first, but after a couple of weeks, he played so damn well for Dragonborns. He ended up getting benched a little bit, then coming back, but right now with NiP, he looks so at home. Like, in this game alone, he's been providing ganks on Darien constantly. He's providing a gank on Alex right there. He's been around the map consistently picking up kills, making plays happen, and he's doing such a great job.
Look at Extinkt. He's 6 levels after getting his ultimate right now. And I don't remember seeing him use it once, because he's just not really needed to. They've not needed the protection side, at least, of that Stan United. We may see it obviously being used a little bit later on to get in more on those fights. Right now, Extinkt does have that Sunfire Cape finish, got Ninja Tabby as well as that Doran Shield. And because of the fact that Darien is so far behind him right now, he's actually going in towards the mid lane as they try to get something done there.
Yeah, and there's one thing we have to talk about right now, Joe, because it looks like we do have a little bit of a lull in the action, is the fact that if you give Gambit a finger, they take your arm. We say that all the time. And if NiP, if they stop this aggression, if they kind of took their foot off the pedal for just a couple of minutes, Gambit can claw their way back easily. So NiP has to be very careful right here.
Well, they have to know that. They have to know that that is the case here. We've got a Deathfire Grass now finished for Bjergsen, by the way. So that 1v1 potential that we saw from him earlier, managing to take down Alex Hitch, is only going to be amplified with that DFG in there. Right now, NiP are actually going to be getting themselves together for a push on this middle turret. And I tell you what, it's already pretty low here. And I'm not sure that Gambit can defend it. They can't. This is going down.
I think Extinkt has ultimate available. Genja's over towards the top side, so they have to pretty much give this away. And it looks like they're going to just clear out the outer turrets one by one as they got bottom, they got middle. And we see Bjergsen heading top here, so it's going to give them even more gold. They're almost approaching 10,000 17 minutes in, Joe.
Yeah, it's really a crazy one here. I mean, they are seeing them pushing this top lane as well. That is going to go down. Third turret. We may see them fall into a trap right now, though. Diamond just waiting inside of the brush. There is the ultimate coming out. Where is Darker's Crescendo going to go? It goes to Bjergsen, but the rest of his team are focusing Extinkt here. They're actually going to get him low. In the meantime, Bjergsen has killed Sona off to the side. We finally see Extinkt going down from this, but now Diamond chasing in on towards Bjergsen. But look at the damage as we see Malunoo pick up another one in middle. Look at Diamond. He's gone extremely low from this one as he tries to walk away. He will get away, but they've lost a middle inner turret for the pleasure.
So 1 death for NiP, but a free turret middle and 2 kills on a Gambit. That was just so well done by them. And you pointed out something really interesting during the fight is that they were focusing Extinkt down. He's the tankiest member of the team, as it looks like he's actually going to be going for a wit's end here, which we have to talk about a little bit because it's been changed in the 3.8 patch, I believe it was, where it doesn't just give you magic resist, it steals away magic resist from the target you're attacking, so it makes it even more powerful. And whoever they hit that with, that means Bjergsen's going to tear them a new one.
Yeah, very, very dangerous on that front. My point before all the action went down there again was, you know, Diamond in the jungle. We've seen this Evelyn banned out for him so many times here, but the fact is we've not seen him shining bright like the Diamond that we actually know here in the jungle for Gambit game, and he's not been able to have any impact whatsoever despite getting that champion that he's almost been begging for these last few weeks.
And this kind of reminds me of something that Demon and I were talking about yesterday, is that Twisted Fate was let through a couple of times. We'll go back 10 seconds. It looks like Malunoo's going to come around, try to steal this away. It does go in, but I don't know who got the blue.
It was Malunoo. He actually used his smite there to get that one down, and he's going to push in. This is another kill. Extinkt comes back after dying. Says, I'll have another one. Thank you very much. Up to now 3-1-5. Well, look at this. Darien, who we said, he's 0-6 right now, Darien. He's ahead in CF, and he's managed to get that turret. That is the first turret of the game for Gambit, but their inhibitor turret's being pushed, and look at Extinkt with Shen in the bottom lane. He's on the inner turret there as well.
Yeah, so they're gonna let Darien have that, because either way, NiP's gonna get another major turret as you see the ultimate come out of freeze, so he's gonna clear that wave a little bit. And I was trying to touch on is that yesterday we had Demon and I were talking about how Twisted Fate was let through 3 games yesterday. Only won 1 out of the 3, but we were mentioning, you know, you let this Twisted Fate go through, and even Alex was talking about specifically is they forget how to play it. They're like, they'll just grab Twisted Fate because it's available, but we do see Diamond trying to go in here.
Yeah, he's going in, but he's been DFG'd and he's now dead. It's Deficio that picks that one up. Alex going in on towards Freeze, who will flash out there. Now it's Alex in all kinds of danger from this one. He will even fall, surely. He's been chased down by Bjergsen on the other side. They've killed Darker on the back, but NiP moving in towards that kill here on Rise, and they could just push turret strike now, but it's 16-2, and they want to pad them stats a little bit more, as Alex does actually get that Rune Prison down, and he is still running for dear life. Extinkt wants this one.
And he's eventually getting here. Alex is just trying to buy time, but yeah, he's eventually going to die. But the whole point of what I was trying to say was that you can give someone a champion. He's been banned 13 times against Diamond with that Evelyn, but he just isn't playing like he used to. Like you're saying before, he's not shining as bright as we expect him to.
Genja able to clear that wave out though now, so there's no immediate danger to that inhibitor turret, but they've already lost the first oh no, it didn't go down. They didn't finish it off because they were hunting for Alexich, where they could have got that inhibitor, but no, it's really quite far gone this game already. We're almost at a 10,000 gold lead. We're only 20 minutes into this game, and look at some of the, I mean, we can touch on the items here. There's obviously a massive disparity between them. Bloodthirst, the last whisper for Freeze. Look at the other side, just a BF sword, and that tier stacking up on Varus, which takes forever, plus 3 Doran's blades as well. That whole build that he's got in there just screams we are incredibly far behind, and we need some kind of power now to deal with that one. On the other side, Bjergsen, we talked about his DFG before. He's got almost that full Rabadon's Death Cap built up as well. Runic Bulwark in, that Wit's End is now finished for Shen. Very difficult game for NiP to be losing now.
And the thing is that NiP, they're winning in kills, but they're also winning in farm pretty much, minus obviously the top laners, and that's really hard to do against Gambit, where teams, you know, they'll get a couple of kills over Gambit, but in the end, Gambit has the same amount of gold. But NiP's doing it on all fronts here. It looks like they're potentially be going for Baron here, but I would say that middle inhibitor should be the first thing they go for.
Well, they're trying to tempt Gambit in there. Gambit, not a team who usually get baited in by things like that. Deficio obviously got this Oracle on, and I don't think Gambit can even think about buying an Oracle right now. He's basically struggling for wards at this point as a charm is going to land, and Darker goes down. It's Freezer, that ultimate that picks that one up. Now they focus Alexich. Double kill coming down for Draven, and they could win the game right here.
They do have enough time. It looks like they have 30 seconds left on Alex. They're going to get the inhibitor down. Diamond is behind them, but NiP, are they going to go for it? Or are they going to play it safe? And it looks like they're going to go for the latter of the two.
I liked how you dodged that one. Expertly done. I thought they were just waiting for that one single minion to tank up one hit from the turrets, but in the end, no. They decide, you know what, guys? Let's back away from this one. Let's get ourselves even more of a lead by taking out that Baron, and then we're going to really get things going, and it will be a Baron started here for NiP. Diamond is actually over the side. Now, if they're able to get a steal here, I'm not going to call it a comeback just yet because it's 10,000 gold. But there is that opportunity then for things to get rolled.
We've seen Extinkt do this over in North America with blind steals, but it looks like Diamond's not going to go for it here as he's going to be coming around. Baron does go over to NiP though.
Baron taken, now they focus down Darien. He's dead once again as the push comes around. They try and pick up Diamond, who just speeds away there. He did manage to get that kill on towards Freeze. Oh, great flash out of Darker there just to avoid that taunt coming out of Shen, but they've lost a Baron. It's now 4 versus 4. Jace has gone down. NiP here are looking to get in on towards Diamond. He walks on top of a pink one. He's going to get charmed up. Bubble comes in. He is dead. Bjergsen unstoppable at 505.
I could tell what was going through Diamond's head right there as he walked into that bush with the pink. He's like, okay, I'm in here. I might be able to get behind him. I'm going to keep vision. Wait, they're walking towards me. I got to start getting out of here, and ended up getting killed. And that's all due to how dominant NiP's been playing, with Deficio having 6,000 gold total to the 3,700 of Darker. Yeah. Like that's so many more pink wards. That's a GP10 which he picked up, which honestly he might not have even needed. But he has the Lock of the Iron Solari, he has an Oracle, like he has so many more items, and that gives him so much more control. Where Diamond, we talked about on Evan, you want to be more of a mid-game champion where you can make the plays happen because the enemy team doesn't have the ability to get the coverage. But NiP bypassed that, and they're just walking all over them.
Just going to be getting these buffs, clearing out their jungle here right now, NiP. Red buff, of course, going over onto Freeze. Genja going to get his red buff as well. For what help it'll give him, we'll have to see about that as the next fight. Maybe around the corner there as Darien walks down. He's like, I'm going to push this lane out. Goes, oh, wow, there's 3 of them there. I'm just going to back away from that. 0-7 is enough deaths for me here for one day. He's got that Muramana now finished up. Got the Hex Drinker and a Brutalizer in there as well. But he's obviously not in the position where he wanted to be 25 minutes almost in towards this game. So, are NiP going to be able to take away a second inhib of the game? They are certainly lining up for this one. And there you see Freeze's win rate with Draven currently 100%. And it's looking like it might stay that way.
Yeah, I mean, we have to give him credit. He's been playing phenomenal Draven, not to mention Deficio, which we really need to give him credit for because he's 2-0-8. His KDA is through the roof right now. And they've been playing the whole lane combo, the synergy they've been using, the whole landing a bubble, picking up the kill, it's been working out for them. And Extinkt pushing top in right now, as you can see the bottom left-hand side of your screen. No one can stop him, so they're just going to give that turn up. And now Extinkt, he could join here or just keep pushing the top lane.
The poke that Gambit have actually got here via Jace and Varus is pretty decently strong by now, obviously with that Bloodthirster in there, with Jace having that Brutalizer and the Muramana now done. So they are able to drop them down a little bit. But yeah, as you see there in the bottom left-hand side of your screen, Alexic has had to go over to deal with the Shen. And now Ninjas in Pyjamas should just be able to push straight through with that wave and take down inhibitor turret number 2.
Looks like they will in fact do that, but what are Gambit going to do? Are they going to let the second one go as Diamond, he makes his move?
Yeah, they've got to fight this one as Diamond does start to come in. Tidal Wave goes down from Deficio. I think a little bit early maybe for that one, but in the end, going to be used up. NiP though, they've got the heals here coming out. Freeze, of course, has a Bloodthirster to heal everything back up. They've got Baron buff giving them the regen. They're just going to come straight back into this.
They should be able to take it here on this. Well, they don't even have a wave. They're just face taking it here, but they're being very safe, very careful, and it's actually really smart. We see the bottom side of your screen. Alex is pretty much dominating Extinkt.
Yeah, well,
well, not anymore.
It's a Shen versus a Ryze, and by all rights, that Shen should be walking away when Ryze comes to stop him. And Extinkt is just not really doing that, as we see Diamond getting involved once again, trying to get down on towards Bjergsen, but he takes a blast of damage from Freeze as he pushes forward for that. The inhibitor is... Was it taken or is it still alive? So it's just about still alive. There we go. It finally gets dropped down. So that will be inhibitor number 2. The super minions have already come up this middle lane. And to be honest, NiP here, they probably could push through with what they've got. But this final inhib turret, Extinct's already done the work onto that one. That will be the 3rd and final turret outside of the Nexus. And let's see if Gambit can hold on here as NiP go in for it. Malunoo actually going in there. Crescendo comes back around. Malunoo going very low, has to flash away. But look at Extinkt at the back doing a lot of work on towards Darien. He will have to walk away, burning from the Ignite. Malunoo is still low as we see Freeze there. He's just trying to hold Gambit off while the rest of his team back away. But what a push there with Baron. I mean, all of the inhibitor turrets down. They took the bottom inhib. The middle inhib was taken earlier on. They almost got the top one as well. But that's how you do it with a Baron.
And not to mention, they're going home with a lot of gold. We see the Honey guys already picked up right now. For Bjergsen, a Giant's Belt being picked up from Malunoo. You have another Oracle for Deficio as AD carry. And they're just going to come back so much stronger as Draven.
Double Bloodthirster.
Why not, you know? I mean, Genja was like the first man to do that back in Katowice, I believe it was. And he's doing it just to, you know, I can do a little bit of extra damage here, because you see how hard he hits with that last Whisper. I mean, Diamond took one hit and it chunked him down about 1/5 of his life.
Yeah, and of course, Darien did that yesterday when he played Aatrox as well. Went in for that second Bloodthirster, because why not? Is the official reasoning that we're going for. Right now, Ari going towards his top lane, and he's going to try and get in on towards Alex Ich. Where's the ultimate? He's actually... Alex, I think, would have got away from that one. I think the recall would have taken him back. Bjergsen going to go diving in there. Here comes Shen as well. Alex in all kinds of trouble from this one. Taunt comes down, and Extinkt goes up to 6-1-7. Sensational stuff from him.
Where did he get all those kills from? He was like 1-0 and like 3, and then out of nowhere 6 kills total. And with that, with him being down another 30 seconds, they're going to get this middle inhibitor. They're going to get the top inhibitor if they want. And they should be able to pretty much round off the game from these super minions pushing, because they're going to have double super minions in each lane.
Well, Gambit push bottom out. Malunoo goes diving in towards Darien. Would usually just hammer him away, but he's more concerned of getting himself straight out of the way from that one. There is the third and final inhibitor going down, and NiP, they've got those super minions squeezing in here as Diamond takes a massive blast. Ulti comes out there from Draven. Couldn't quite get the return to get that extra damage off, but they're focusing in now towards the Nexus turrets. Gambit have to fight them right here. They have to do something about this one. As a charm lands on towards Alex. Here comes the tidal wave as Diamond takes a load of damage. He gets onto the fountain. Darien not got the luxury of that one as Genja gets taunted up there, charmed up onto the top of the fountain itself. But look at that, the Nexus turrets are already pretty much gone as Breeze goes in onto the fountain, gets another kill. Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to destroy Gambit here for a fantastic victory.
And look at that scoreline, 26-3. When does Gambit never get that little kills? I'm not a loss of words, because that was just such a great game, but wow, you saw at the end right there just how hard it was for Gambit to do anything. Alex, he got hit with a charm, got nailed with a bubble, got taunted right after. He did absolutely nothing, and that was the whole CC train that NiP was running.
You see the look on Alex's face there, a wow face, I think that was. I didn't really know what had just hit him. Of course, that was Gambit's chance to grab first position in the league here. It obviously adds another defeat to their total right now, which means Alternate will regain it through that victory of Ninjas in Pyjamas there. And to be honest, Jason, it was a very one-sided affair, but it was really incredibly done by NiP.
I think it was all about a kind of confidence for Gambit, because we saw Malunoo consistently ganking Darien over and over, and that just put him 0-3 in the first like 8 minutes of the game. And you know, when you die that many times and you keep getting camped like that, you kind of get in a downward spiral, like, you know, forget this game, I'm just going to try to farm as much as possible. But he kept doing it everywhere to everyone, and Gambit ended up losing the game. Very one-sided game, but as you said, very exciting game, even though it was pretty much a stomp.
And I don't want to just pick on Darien there as well, because I mean, Alex did finish that game with 9 deaths to his name as well, and you know, things just didn't get started for Gambit, and that's what we saw in their game against Lemon Dogs. You know, Dexter coming out of the jungle with this Elise, got very snowball. He was landing all his cocoons everywhere, and it was that downward spiral from Gambit, and I think we've just seen pretty much exactly the same thing happen to them there. Yeah,
they really shut Diamond down well. I mean, Evelyn banned 30 times against him.
Yeah, that's true.
And you saw he just wasn't able to make a play happen. He had one lane for CC to really go into, but every time he would get to a lane, Malunoo was already there prepared because they had a pink ward down. And Deficio, with the amount of the lead he had, always had an Oracle, always had pink wards, always had an item or two ahead of his counterpart. It was kind of a snowball game just right from the get-go.
Yeah, very, very hard one for Gambit to actually be coming, you know, back from. There's not many games where you see a start like that being turned into, you know, a comeback and what have you from that. And certainly very well played by Ninjas in Pyjamas. Gambit going to have to wait for another week for a chance at first place. But for now, we're going to head over to Freak for his take on that great game.
Thanks very much, Joe. And this really was an impressive showing by Ninjas in Pyjamas. And I wanted to highlight one gank in particular in the top lane against Darien. Of course, there were many, but there was one that was really, really well played, if you can get it on your screen. And they basically layered their crowd control so well. All right, so Malunoo's waiting in the brush in the top, and you've got Extinkt down there just off screen. Now, what happens is they don't want to layer their crowd control. Thing is, Extinkt can't close the gap unless he gets slowed or he uses his taunt, and Malunoo really can't attack without wasting his 3 Talon strike. So what happens is they actually let Malunoo jump in there. Extinkt will walk forward, and he'll only taunt once Darien actually blows his Thundering Blow, uses it to knock back Malunoo, and then gets re-crowd controlled, which again allows Malunoo to get back into the fight and then pick up the kill. So it's really well coordinated. Let's roll the clip out and watch what happens. Malunoo's going to dive in, slow down Darien, and that's all it takes. They can actually walk in and deal damage. There's a Thundering Blow, and now Extinkt can taunt. And now Malunoo can walk back in, get the knock up, and he's just crowd controlled long enough that they pick up the kill. So end of the clip right there, but that kind of goes to show you that they have only 2 crowd control spells. They've got to use them properly and not overlap the 2 of them, and they did that incredibly well. So very impressive showing right there. Pyjamas, a well-deserved win. So congrats to them, but let's send it over to Shox, who has Bjergsen.